I used to be an architect. For 40 years I drew blueprints, calculated loads, and obsessed over foundations. In my line of work, we have a term, load-bearing. It refers to the walls that actually hold the building up. You can knock down a partition wall, and nothing happens. It's just decoration. But if you compromise a load-bearing wall, the entire structure collapses. The tricky thing about life is that we are terrible at identifying who our load-bearing people are until they are gone. We think the structural integrity of our lives comes from our careers, our bank accounts, or our public reputation. We are wrong. The structure of a human life is held up by the quiet, unglamorous, and often irritatingly consistent presence of a few good people. My name is Arthur. I am 82 years old, and 6 months ago, my entire roof caved in. Not literally, of course, but the man who held up the west wing of my life, a stubborn, loud-mouthed, brilliant man named Elias, died on a rainy Tuesday morning. I am not here to tell you a fairy tale. I am here to tell you about the danger of thinking you have time. I want to tell you about the physics of friendship and why the most boring moments of your life are actually the only ones that matter. Elias and I did not start as friends. We started as a boundary dispute. It was 1978. We had both just bought our forever homes in a suburb that was still half forest. I was the uptight professional, obsessed with clean lines and order. Elias was chaos. He was a mechanic who fixed vintage motorcycles in his driveway at odd hours. Our first interaction wasn't a handshake. It was an argument over a fence line. I had a survey map. He had a hammer. I was quoting property laws. He offered me a warm beer and told me to relax my shoulders because I looked like I was carrying the weight of the Roman Empire. I didn't take the beer. I walked away thinking, I am going to hate living next to this man. For 2 years, we existed in a state of Cold War. I mowed my lawn in straight, diagonal stripes. He let his wildflowers grow until they spilled over onto my driveway. I listened to classical music. He blasted classic rock while tuning engines. Then came the blizzard of 1980. It was the kind of snow that shuts down the world. The power grid failed. The roads were impassable. My heating system, which was state-of-the-art and expensive, failed immediately. I sat in my living room, freezing, wrapped in 3 blankets, too proud to ask for help. Then I saw a flashlight bobbing through the snow in the backyard. It was Elias. He didn't knock. He just walked around the back, fired up a generator he had rigged up, because of course he had a generator, and ran an extension cord through my kitchen window. He came inside, shaking the snow off his coat, and looked at me, shivering in the dark. He didn't gloat. He didn't say, "I told you so." He just set a thermos of coffee on the table and said, "Technically, this electricity is crossing the property line. Don't sue me." We sat in his kitchen that night because it was the only warm room on the block. We talked for 6 hours. I learned that his chaos was actually a deep, intuitive understanding of how things worked: engines, people, survival. He learned that my rigidity was a defense mechanism against a world I couldn't control. That night, the friction between us stopped creating heat and started creating traction. We realized we were different, yes, but we were the only two people awake in a frozen world. That is how real friendship begins. Not always with a spark, but sometimes with a shovel in the snow.
People think friendship is about the highlight reel, the road trips, the bachelor parties, the weddings. But if you live long enough, you realize those are just the paint on the walls. The real substance is the mortar between the bricks. For Elias and me, the mortar was Sunday mornings. For 35 years, almost without fail, Elias would come over to my porch at 8 a.m. We didn't do anything exciting. We drank coffee that was arguably too strong, and we solved the Sunday crossword puzzle. Well, I solved the puzzle. Elias criticized the clues. "That's a stupid word for a boat," he would say. Or, "Arthur, you're overthinking it. The answer is clearly banana." The answer was never banana. We did this through the 80s, the 90s, and the new millennium. We did this while our children grew up and moved away. We did this while my hair turned gray and his fell out. If you had filmed us, it would have been the most boring television show in history. Two middle-aged men sitting on wicker chairs, complaining about local politics, the price of lumber, or the neighbors. But here is what I didn't realize then. Those Sundays were a calibration. You see, the world tries to pull you apart. Your job demands pieces of you. Your family needs pieces of you. Your anxieties eat away at you. When I sat on that porch with Elias, I was just Arthur. Not Arthur the architect, not Arthur the father, not Arthur the widower. Just Arthur. Elias had this unique ability to cut through my pretensions. If I was bragging about a big project, he'd grunt and ask if the roof was going to leak. If I was spiraling into depression, he wouldn't try to fix me with psychology. He'd just say, "You're thinking too loud. Pass me the sports section." This is the architecture of the mundane. We crave adventure, but we are sustained by routine. We think we want a friend who will jump out of an airplane with us. What we really need is a friend who will sit on a porch with us when we are too tired to stand, and make us feel like that is enough. I took those Sundays for granted. I thought they were infinite. I thought there was an endless supply of Sunday mornings in the bank. I calculated my life expectancy and his, and assumed we had decades. I forgot that life doesn't run on mathematics. It runs on fragility.
There is a specific type of silence that happens when your world ends. It happened to me 15 years ago. My wife, Eleanor, the love of my life, the woman who taught me how to laugh, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. She was gone in 4 months. During those 4 months, my house was filled with people. Neighbors brought casseroles. Colleagues sent flowers. Everyone said the right things. "Let me know if you need anything. She's in a better place. Time heals all wounds." They meant well, but their words felt like rain on a tin roof, loud, overwhelming, and ultimately staying on the outside. Elias was different. When Eleanor died, I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to eat. I stopped going into the office. I sat in my living room, staring at the dust mote dancing in the light,
feeling like my chest had been hollowed out with a spoon. Elias didn't ask what I needed. He knew that grief makes you unable to make decisions. He just showed up. He had a key. He'd had a key since 1985. He would let himself in, walk past me without forcing conversation, and he would work. He fixed the leaking faucet in the kitchen that Eleanor had been nagging me about for a year. He raked the leaves in the yard because he knew I couldn't bear to look at the decay. He did my laundry. One afternoon, about 3 weeks after the funeral, he found me sitting on the floor of the hallway, weeping. I was holding one of Eleanor's shoes. I was a broken man, stripped of all dignity. A lesser friend would have backed away. A lesser friend would have offered a tissue and an inspirational quote. Elias sat down on the floor next to me. He leaned his back against the wall. He didn't touch me. He didn't say, "It's going to be okay," because we both knew that was a lie. It wasn't going to be okay. It was going to be different forever. He just sat there for an hour. Eventually, he spoke. He said, "She hated those shoes, you know. She told me they pinched her toes, but she wore them because you said they made her look tall." I laughed. It was a choked, ugly sound, but it was a laugh. "She did hate them," I said. That was the turning point. Elias didn't pull me out of the hole. He climbed down into the hole and sat in the dark with me until I was ready to climb out myself. That is the definition of an anchor. An anchor doesn't make the storm stop. An anchor holds you steady so you aren't swept out to sea and lost forever.
We grew old. It happens slowly and then all at once. The porch conversations changed. We stopped talking about the future and started talking about the past. We became the historians of our own lives. We were the only two people left who remembered why the fence was crooked or who planted the oak tree. Last year, Elias started to slow down. The man who could lift a transmission block with his bare hands started having trouble opening jars. His breath caught in his chest. He didn't tell me he was sick. He was stubborn, remember? He viewed illness as a personal failure, something to be fixed in the garage with the right wrench. I found out when he collapsed at the grocery store. The decline was fast. It wasn't the slow fade of memory, it was the failure of the machine. His heart, that big rhythmic engine, was giving out. I visited him in the hospital every day. The roles were reversed now. I was the one bringing the coffee. I was the one trying to distract him. 2 days before he died, he was lucid. The machines were beeping, creating this artificial rhythm that replaced the classic rock he used to love. I sat by his bed, feeling an intense panic. There was so much I hadn't said. I wanted to thank him for the generator in 1980. I wanted to thank him for sitting on the hallway floor. I wanted to tell him that he was the brother I never had. But we were men of a certain generation. We didn't use words like love easily. We spoke in code. I looked at him and said, "Elias, who is going to tell me the crossword puzzle is wrong when you're gone?" He smiled, weak and tired. He looked at the ceiling and said, "You're smart, Arthur. You'll figure it out. Just don't let the wildflowers take over the driveway." "I won't," I promised. "And Arthur?" "Yes?" "That beer I offered you in 1978, you should have taken it. It was a really good beer." We both chuckled. That was the last real thing we said to each other.
He died 48 hours later. When he passed, I didn't just lose a friend. I lost the witness to my life. When your spouse dies, you lose your heart. When your best friend dies, you lose your context. There is no one left who knows the shorthand. No one left who knows why the crooked fence is funny.
I still sit on the porch on Sunday mornings. I make 2 cups of coffee. I put one on the wicker table next to the empty chair. I know it's sentimental. I know it's irrational. I'm an architect. I know that chair is structurally unable to drink coffee. But the steam rising from that second cup reminds me of something important. It reminds me that we are built by others. I look at young people today and my heart breaks for them a little. You have 1,000 friends in your pocket. You have followers. You have connections. But do you have someone who will come over with a generator when the power grid fails? Do you have someone who will sit on the floor with you when you are holding a shoe and weeping? We prioritize the wrong things. We cancel plans with friends because we are tired or busy. We think, I'll see them next week. I am telling you, as a man standing at the end of the line, there are no guaranteed next weeks. There is only this Tuesday. There is only this phone call. If you have a friend, a real one, a difficult one, a boring one, call them. If you are holding a grudge over a boundary line, drop it. If you have been too busy building your career to build your relationships, stop. Your career will not visit you in the hospital. Your bank account will not tell a funny story at your funeral. The only thing that endures is the love you built with the people who saw you when you were unlovable. Elias taught me that the most important structures in life aren't made of steel or stone. They are made of coffee, silence, and showing up. Don't wait until the chair is empty to realize how much space they took up. My name is Arthur. I'm going to drink my coffee now, and then I'm going to go mow Elias's lawn. The wildflowers are getting a little out of hand.